In what way does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media? I think our group short film and my poster and double page spread mostly is following existing forms and conventions of existing films, posters and double page spreads for films similar in the genre, though they do challenge a few conventions in places. To learn about what conventions to use for my short film, I looked at a number of short films online such as Red and Letter. I also looked at films like Shutter's Island, Hannibal and Paranormal Activity for more inspirational ideas. I think the main reason our short film challenged conventions is because most of the filming was done around midday in sunny weather, which does not really fit into the conventions of a psychological thriller horror film. I can't help but think breaking the conventions may have been a mistake because it does not make the genre clear enough, as it does not use does not specifically fit the genre itself. However, our short film does follow a lot of other conventions of short films of a similar hybrid genre to our film in terms of number of characters, type of characters, casting, plot and script, themes, the title, camera shots, sound, editing and mise-en-scène. The nature of the three main characters follows conventions of short films and Hollywood films because our characters fit props theory, as DeLuca is the protagonist, Hugo is the antagonist and Sarah is the princess. We decided to follow this convention because it makes it easier for the audience to engage with the story as it is familiar. Our casting choice follows the conventions of short films because we used unknown actors for the lead roles. The reason this is common is because short film makers do not usually have the budget for big names. However, using unwell-known actors is also a convention of a lot of horror films like The Blair Witch Project and the first Paranormal Activity, as it makes it more scary and realistic to have someone casted who seems more like an everyday person. The plot and script follows conventions of psychological thriller horror film because the narrative structure is internally confusing and has twists and turns that leaves the audience wondering what is the true vision of events. It follows Todoro's narrative theory because the equilibrium is DeLuca seeing two people at once, his girlfriend Sarah and his male lover Hugo. The desperation are Hugo's getting jealous and trying to make DeLuca get rid of Sarah. DeLuca, thinking he's murdered Sarah, then sees her again, both leaving him confused over what he has and has not really done. This confusion follows conventions of films like American Psycho in the year 2000, when Patrick Bateman is left confused over what is real and what is not real. But it does break horror conventions because there is no graphic violence or special effects to scare the viewers. If we could refilm it, I would like to include more graphical violence to make it seem more recognisable as a horror. The themes follow conventions because short films like I Love You and Echoes look at the theme of sexuality, and films like Paranormal Activity look at themes like murder and insanity. The themes we explored also follow the conventions of short films because a lot of short films explore serious themes. The film title follows conventions of short films of psychological horror genres because it is one word like the titles of other short films like Red, Illusion. It is also an unusual, scary word that links to a main character, and this also follows conventions of the genre because films like the ones I have mentioned also do this. The title, typography and editing also follows conventions because we made it in After Effects to get the effects right for the genre and make it look professional. The camera shots follows conventions because we use close-up to medium close-ups and point-of-view shots to show the emotions the characters were feeling when they are talking to each other, close-ups for the animation scenes and wide-angle range of shots like medium shots, low-angle shots, close-ups and cutaways for the fight scenes to make them look more uncontrolled and dramatic. The sound follows conventions because we use dialogue to tell a story, ambient sound to make it realistic, sound effects to make certain scenes more dramatic, and non-diegetic music to add emotion. And non-diegetic music is right for the genre because it is based around Beethoven's, which is a dramatic and simple, similar to non-diegetic music used for a lot of murder scenes. The editing follows conventions because we have used continuing editing that follows the 180 degrees rule for most of the film, but have used jump cuts and other techniques to make the murder scene more crazy and dramatic, as this is a convention of a lot of films like Psycho, using during the murders and fights. Mise en scène mostly follows conventions because we have used unknown actors like most short films do to represent the target audience, and used costumes like hoodies to show the film is set in a present day and is about lower class characters, and a location, the empty roads, to show the film is set in a poor rural area. However, as I said earlier, we did break some mise en scène conventions by filming the murders in the middle of the day in a sunny weather. To learn about the conventions to use in my film poster, I looked at these film posters online. I liked the way they contain the genre of the film that was similar to Shutter Island, Hannibal and mine. I think my poster follows conventions because I've used the colour black and white, which connotes the genre, and are features on professional posters like the posters I analysed. I used a medium shot for the main image of DeLuca, and this follows conventions of film posters for films like Shutter Island because they also use medium to close-up shots on their posters. I have put the film title in the bottom part of the poster in a thin typography style to show the genre, and this follows conventions of other film magazines I have seen as they use similar typography styles. I have put the name of the actors in the top part of the poster, and this follows conventions of posters for films like Shutter Island, which also did this. And because I put the credits and release date at the bottom, which is a convention all film posters follow. To learn about what conventions to use on my double page spread, I looked at double page spreads from Empire magazine because I liked their general layout and style. I think my double page spread follows conventions because I have done the following things that I saw on a professional double page spread that I analysed. I have used a medium long shot for the main image that is on the left side of the double page spread. This shot is of DeLuca, and this follows conventions I saw in other double page spreads because normally they place the main image on the left. I have included a film reel with other pictures from the film along the bottom of the page of the article. I have written a clever review that shows my professional opinion and the style that you often see in a film magazine review article. I have put my article on the right side of the page in two columns. I've used a colour palette of black and white to connote the genre of the film article, what the film article is about. I have put the title in a larger font and positioned it at the top of the page and made sure the typography is right for the genre.